I am Dr. Zakir, Senior ENT Consultant. In this video, we will see the normal function of nose and paranasal sinuses. First, let us see the structure of the nose. So, if you see this picture, you have three shelf-like structures which are called as turbinates. These turbinates, it has got a special property. They have erectile tissue. So, it has got a property to swell up and to decrease in size. And it has got a very good blood supply too. All the functions of the nose is all because of these turbinates. All the functions which I am going to mention. Now, coming to sinuses, you have four sets or four pair of sinuses. These are the frontal sinus, then you have the maxillary sinus, you have the ethmoid sinus. I have drawn only on one side, supposed to be on the other side also. And last, way behind, you have the sphenoid sinus. Now, let us go into the main topic, the functions of the nose. First is protection. See, when you, from the very start of the nose, you can see hairs. These hairs will filter particles which is more than 3 microns in size, and it doesn't allow to enter the nose. Second, the whole nasal cavity and the sinus, it is covered by a watery or cum oily layer, and it moves like a conveyor belt. It keeps on moving from the start of the nose, and this is joined by the mucus coming from all the sinuses, and from the nose it goes back behind the nose, and we swallow that. So, what happens is, this mucus layer being oily and watery together, any foreign material, it gets stuck to this mucus layer. So, it traps the particle, which even if it traps the particle, even if the size is very small. And once it is trapped, then it cannot escape from that. So, what happens is, this trapped particle moves along with the mucus and we swallow it, and it gets disposed. Third, you have so many mucus glands inside the nose. These secretes immunoglobulins, which gives protection against bacteria, virus, and so many other things. But any foreign material, or say like any dust which tries to enter the nose, automatically the body rejects by sneezing. So, that is also one of the protective mechanism. Now, second function is that when we inspire air, it has got a particular temperature. So, one of the important function of the turbinate or the nose is that it has to warm up the inspired air in such a way that it has to be the same as the core temperature of our body. That is the important function. Now, if suppose the water content of the inspired air is less, the nose has to humidify the inspired air too. Coming to the next function, nose, in the uppermost part, we have a small area which is concerned with smell, that is olfaction. Smell is much connected with taste too. That's why when you have any upper respiratory tract infection, when the nose is blocked and there is nasal discharge, there is no olfaction, you cannot smell, so you don't feel like eating because the taste sensation is gone. That's why. So, it works together. Last, nose and sinus, it forms a part of vocal resonance. Means all the consonants which are produced in the vocal voice box, all the consonants doesn't come from the oral cavity. Some of them, like the consonants like M, N and NG, these are resonated in the nose and sinuses. So, in a case of upper respiratory tract infection, these consonants gets affected. Now, coming to the function of sinuses. I have already mentioned that like how you have a protective mucus layer or the conveyor belt in the nose, same thing you have in the sinuses also. So, that also forms part of protection. Skull, inside the skull you have 4 sets of sinuses which are air filled, so it decreases the weight of the skull. About the resonance, I have already mentioned. Now, the sinuses, it plays a part in temperature buffer. Let me show you this diagram once again. So, if you see the structure of the eye, all around you have sinuses which are air filled, frontal sinus, ethmoid sinus and maxillary sinus. And not only eye, there are so many other important structures. So what happens is, any temperature change, outside temperature change, it is not directly transmitted into the important structures in the face or in the head, because you have air-filled sinuses in between. So all the sinuses, they act as temperature buffer too. Last, out of the 4 important sinuses, all the 3 sinuses is all seen in the front part of the face. So if there is any trauma, the trauma impulse or impact, it is not transmitted directly to the important structures. So what happens is, when there is impulse or trauma, there will be collapse of the sinuses, and the impulse of the force comes down a lot, thus protecting the important structures behind. Now, nose has a direct connection with the lungs, and there is something called nasobronchial and nasopulmonary reflex too. So these are the normal functions of the nose and the paranasal sinuses in short. Thank you.